While working at Triple O's, you eventually meet James Whitey Bulger. Can you talk about meeting him for the first time and how your relationship with him took off from there?
Well, I mean, he used to come in the bar on the weekends, Saturday and Sunday, not all the time, Saturday mostly, sometimes Friday. And he'd come in and he'd see me and he'd say hello, I'd say hello. And that was it. And then as time passed, we'd have conversations, you know, and it just developed from there.
Before you really met them, what was their reputation there in Boston? I mean, I know we know now looking back about Whitey Bulger, but at that time, what was the reputation there in Boston?
Well, when I first saw him when I was 13, I mean, he was a gangster, you know. They were the organized crime in Boston, in South Boston at the time, and elsewhere. So, I mean, everybody knew who they were. People didn't know what they looked like, though.
What was your involvement in the narcotics business?
Pot was big, you know. I mean, everybody was smoking. So this guy, a friend, he just got out of prison and stuff, and he was hungry and he was looking to put together to make some money. So his idea he came up with was to grab all the pot dealers, make them buy it off of him, and whatever money he got, he was pay Whitey, you know. So he said, okay. Now, the first time he did it, he wanted me to go with him to grab all these people. And Jimmy comes in and I says, no, I don't want anything to do with him. Jimmy says, good, because I don't want you to go with him. So anyways, he got another guy, tough kid, and they started shaking down the drug dealers. And, money was coming in. They were selling it to them. They had to buy it off them and stuff. So everything was good. And then they grabbed this one guy. He was a pretty good marijuana distributor and stuff. Mm-hmm. And he turned them on to coke. He taught them how to take coke and reprocess it, cut it and everything, repackage it, in presses and stuff, which they started doing. And then that was serious money then. That was a lot of money coming in then. And that's how, he was still paying Whitey, so he was in the business, in the pot business, and he was paying to do business. So that's how we got into it. We really didn't get into it. We were extorting drug dealers.
Yeah, a guy you briefly mentioned, a guy in the book, John Red Shea, and his involvement in the drug business. Now, he's done a few interviews on YouTube, on some other channels. What was his involvement with you and Whitey Bulger?
He was a mid-level drug dealer, He was selling like ounces, stuff like that. Every once in a while, he'd go down to Florida, have someone go down and bring back kilos, a couple at a time, and he'd sell them to people. That was his, he was just like a mid-level drug dealer. Well, he was with this girl one night who was a friend of mine. When I say a friend, I've known her since grammar school. And he was drinking and stuff. He was up at her apartment, and he started shooting the place up. Mm. And she says, I'm telling Kevin and Whitey. He goes, basically tell him to go after himself. I don't care, and blah, blah, blah. Well, she came down and told us. So I reached out for him, had to go down the store, and I pulled I had an Ingram, machine gun, Israeli machine gun, and I pulled it on him. And basically, I ended up fining him $25,000, and he had to pay monthly rent now. And that was his, involvement. I got to like the kid, I really did. And but then after everything was over and stuff, he's one of these guys to like the Army, the old recruiting poster, be all you can be. Mm-hmm. So he wrote a book, and there's a lot of embellishment in there. I'll be nice, things that he didn't do. He's head of a drug organization. He said, "Well, that was Billy Shea and those guys when it first started."
Right.
Back in the he wasn't he was a kid, Yeah. And he said when he was 20 years old, he was running a drug organization. I mean, come on, will you?
Mhm.
We had all guys around us, hardened criminals, killers, everything else, and he's telling them what to do. Are you serious? You know? And I
Yeah,
mean, he
I
just
was
embellished a
curious.
lot.
Yeah, I was curious how close he was with Bulger because it seems uh
Oh, yeah, he was his bodyguard and all kinds of stuff. He
yeah.
says, yeah, except he was never around us, except for once a month of every once in a while he'd come by to say hi.
Mm,
He'd come by once a month to pay the money. And that's the thing. The DEA and the state police, everybody, in the investigation, they all called him on. He's full of shit.
mm,
He wasn't around, as much as he likes to think.
yeah.
He was the angel of death, he says. You know, he's in the car with Whitey Bulger and myself and this other kid that he's having a problem with. I'm trying to straighten it out. And in his book, he says, little do they know the angel of death. You know? I mean, Whitey's there and I'm there. He's the angel of death. It'll blow his fucking head off.
Mm.
He was nothing.